Es ist ein Gemetzel.
Look at the carnage. My goodness.
Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, good whatever it is. Yet again, here we are. I'm Nobbers. I am your host for this match, 20th Panzer Grenadiers 10th Mountain Division versus Alpha. Over on the right-hand side of the screen right now, you will see a Jelly Bear, aka Blue Rose Jelly, and I'll do a shout-out for Blue when the match catches up, because we're 30 minutes delayed, of course. But Blue, you just joined me for the Chimera versus Mercantor match, and you're joining me for this one. Thank you very much for coming along, and lovely to see you again. They absolutely are, and I just realised you were muted, so it's that up. What did we do in the last hour between the Chimera and Mercantor match, which finished in, what was it, 14 minutes, wasn't it?
Oh, something like that. Yeah, it was all over and done in 15 minutes. I think the VOD's only half an hour long.
Yeah, incredible stuff. That was such an exercise in blitzkrieg, as demonstrated by the gang. Sorry, I'm just trying to get some information up about what squad I should be in here. The match was incredible. But what we've been doing in the last hour is, well, I've been working on all my filters for my audio, so I'm hoping it actually sounds good now. And the reason I've been doing that was because I had that computer crash and stuff. So I'd muted you so that I could do some technical...
It's always the way. There's always some sort of thing. You're like, everything's set up, and then 5 minutes before you go live, it's like, oh, something's not working. Oh, good.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's have a bit of a chat, though, about what we're watching here for this match shortly. I'm trying to work out, and I'm just going to type this in. Well, look, while I'm typing some stuff in, and we've got the wrong screen up there, actually. We're not watching a St. Glees for this one, are we? We're watching Hurtgen. We are playing on Hurtgen Forest for this match. What do you know about Hurtgen Forest there, Blue?
I like Hurtgen Forest. A lot of people hate it, but I quite enjoy it because there's so much more cover. And you can just kind of hide behind the trees. There's always some like bush that you can put your OP in. And I don't necessarily have to worry about tanks on this map, because tanks are going to get stuck on every rock, every tree, and all the rivers.
Well, there's some very tank-heavy squads and clans in this tournament. You will still see folks will use their tanks to good effect. It will very much depend on which points are the ones being fought over, won't it? Because there's some areas that are a little bit more open than others. Yeah, I mean, I do normally have maps linked in here, but because of that computer wipe, I've lost a lot of that stuff, so we will get back to that. I suppose I could be a little bit fancy here and just quickly bring it up on another screen. Let's have a look. What did you think of that last match while I'm bringing up this information? The Chimera versus Mercantor.
Oh my goodness. I cast another match 2-3 weeks ago, something like that, and it was like a half an hour game. We were like, wow, that was over incredibly quickly. And then this one happened all over in 15 minutes. I don't think I've seen anything end that fast, except like pub matches when you stomp them.
Yeah,
but then it's stacked.
Just bringing up that primary display now. Let's have a look. So there is the map of Hurtgen, and areas that you will find that you see a lot of tanks around they'll be along these ridge lines. You will get Overwatch ridgeline tanks, Wayback Cal and the Ruin versus Hill 15 Jacob's Bun Salient. Sort of along those columns, they're trying to pick up the odd random long shot and put suppressive fire in. Once those areas crack, though, then it's kind of all bets are off, isn't it? And anyone could go anywhere, and the tanks could be all over the place. So, all right, I'm still waiting to find out what squad. Good question, Noppers. They don't know which squad they want me in. Very good. So I'll be casting on the 20th and 10th side. And I've done a couple of matches for these guys so far. Unfortunately, we couldn't get blue on the other side, the Alpha side, because I did get asked at late notice by one of the other casters. There we go, I've been given the name in Discord. Been asked by one of the other casters if they could cast the Alpha side. And the Alpha, of course, are a Chinese team. So it's probably better that the Aussie-speaking guy doesn't cast on that side for them, because a lot of them probably wouldn't understand what the fuck I'm talking about half the time anyway. Whereas our good American colleagues, where the 20th and 10th come from, well, they mostly understand Australian, don't they? But not all.
Mostly. Not all the time. Sometimes you can get away with a lot.
Not always. That's right. And I really enjoyed casting for the 20th, 10th. So I am looking forward to watching this match for them. Now, I've watched 20th and 10th over the last few weeks grow as a group, and some information about them. Let's go across to some of that info I've got on the 20th, 10th. Here I am now in the match, and I'm just setting up my camera, by the way. All right, so I will bring up... what have I got here? I've got all these fancy buttons and no way of using them. Well, let's talk quickly about the minors schedule. I'm bringing that up on screen now. You won't be able to see it, Blue, of course, because you're watching Hell Let Loose on your screen, on my stream. But we've just played the matches. This is the matches of the September 17th. Now, I normally stream the Oceanic, so the next match I'm doing for Oceanic is Seb H, 501st, versus Chimera, and then whatever else comes up. That will be a big match. That will be a big match next weekend. Really looking forward to that one. All right, so let's get rid of that screen now. And let's go across to whatever we've got here. No, we'll probably just bring up the map. Don't worry about this at the moment, of course, because this has not been rolled yet. So we're not actually going to be seeing what's going to be happening yet. And we'll just pop this down. There's the map that I've just brought up on the screen now. We'll get rid of the Hurtgen Sizzle. And we are just going to talk briefly about the teams here. So I'm on the Allied team, the 20th, 10th guys. So that will mean that we'll be looking at them as Axis, and that's what they're playing this particular week. And Alpha will be on the Allied side. They're just getting all the players together. You can see now it's 48-48. So it's 49-49 with a caster slot each way. Folks from the 20th, 10th. So if I talk about the 20th, the 10th Mountain Division, actually, just briefly, things to note about them. Colonel Matthews is the head of the 20th, 10th. Sorry, the 10th rather, but he's not. It doesn't look like he's actually the commander today, so that's a change. Mighty Goose is the leader of the 20th. It's their first competitive tournament for those guys, and their history is a lot of friendlies. Now, I think you probably would have seen some of these guys play, haven't you, Blue, or watched some of their streams or whatever, or streamed for them.
Yeah, they we played against the 10th and 20th. I think OC and Foy Boys, they had a game a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago. So yeah, I've seen them around a lot more recently. That's that's part of our growth from the Oceanic side of things, is actually learning some of these other clans and getting involved with them across the board. They're trying to get experience and knowledge of competitive play. They're new to the scene. They're expecting to be the underdogs most of the time. All right, so this is their chance to show that they belong. They have put up some really good fights, but some of the weaknesses that I've talked to Colonel Matthews about are things like that combined arms, which we absolutely saw in the last match from Chimera, and you see it in the teams that have been well developed in the competitive play. The combined arms are brilliant. And for those that don't know what combined arms about, it's about using... the best example was at the start where Chimera had taken the point, Hospice, and they pushed their infantry forward about 100 to 200 metres, but they had a tank back there providing suppressive fire out across the fields while that infantry moved up, which allowed the infantry to sweep around and take some buildings.
allowing the tanks to move up, and then you're blitzkrieging and you're sweeping around the map, and that's what happened. So that's combined arms and a bit of artillery thrown in for good measure because, artillery. So that's what you're looking for. And 20th, 10th what I've observed of them is a couple of times there they've had their tanks isolated, too isolated. And against, I think it was Seb H last weekend, they had multiple times where their tanks were getting pincered by 2 or 3 anti-tankers and just getting destroyed. So that's something I hope to see in 20th, 10th improve today. Alpha, I've watched, and I cast a match for them way back early. I think they played against OC, which is a clan you're part of, Jelly.
Yeah.
And OC are very competitive, very, very competitive. They do all sorts of training and practice to get their standards up, and they have to against in these competitions. They're not in this one at the moment, but I'm sure to see them soon. Alpha are representational of a lot of the Asiatic teams that I've watched, and that is they are very deliberate gameplay. And if I could be a little bit colloquial at the moment, for the Oceanic players, probably a few of the American players as well, we tend to be running at points with a pair of grenades hanging between our legs. You know what I mean? That's how we play. Whereas the Asiatic teams tend to be a lot more deliberate, a lot more refined in the way they move. They move as squads, and they're just this inevitable wave that creeps forward. And I've started to see that in Chimera in this competition, and even 20th, 10th and some of the other clans. I'm starting to show that more deliberate, grindy play that gets you forward and gets you taking points. And that's what Hell Lets Loose requires of you. Not the Battlefield Call of Duty style of play, but the more, I'm going to stop here and have a bit of a look to see what's going on around me before I race across this field or whatever. You're a bit of a fan of the open field run though, Blue, is that right?
Yes, I will stand behind it. It worked. Many a time I've just run straight across a field and then I'm like, oh, I'm in the point. People are like, how did you get there? Open field.
Yes. and
it works a lot more than it should.
It does, but the big thing is that if there's a road rage or a dead man or one of these people anywhere within half a kilometre of where you're running, you're down. They will pick you up.
In comp, I played. We played friendly OC clans. We did 50-50, and I didn't run across the field as much. But pub games, yes, absolutely open field.
Pub games, anything's on. Get those grenades up and ready to go. Let's have a look now. I'm just trying to see if did I get information from Alpha. Is this no? That's not Alpha. That's not Alpha. No, that's not Alpha. I asked Alpha for some information. No, they didn't get back to me. It may be an English translation thing, where I've written a message through and they haven't really been able to interpret it, or maybe they just didn't get around to it. So I can't really tell you about Alpha as a clan. Unfortunately, we don't have that detail here. I do rely on the clan leaders to provide me. But however, Blue, the map has changed. You can see that we've got a roll going on. The shooting of excitement is now occurring from 20th 10th. They're guns in the air like they just don't care. Truck your mates. That's them. They're excited. I'm excited. It's time. It's Herkin Forest. Ladies and gentlemen, we are kicking off right now. Going to crack across to the point of view screen right now and get that looking up. And shit, I just forgot who I'm actually supposed to be joining. Well, let's find that person's name. Oh my God, what a fail that is. Zero Tolerant, I think it was. Yeah. Zero Tolerant, that's who I'm joining. Where is it? That's not you there. That's not you there. Charlie, easy. Oh my God, where are you? I saw your name just before. We'll just do this. Scrolling down. So what are we expecting to see here at the start? He hasn't formed a squad. That's why I can't find him. Come on, Zero Tolerant. Don't let me down. There he is. He's in George squad. Woo! Happy days. Rifleman, keep roll. Got to get in quick. Got to go fast. Got to get it done. It's North Pass, Blue. Tell me about North Pass.
North Pass. Oh, that is one pain in the ass point to tank. There's nothing on the north that you can get around, so it's not like you can flank all directions. You got to come in from the sides or the south. But there's some tricky buildings, and depending on the side you're on, there's some good cover, especially on that western side. Let's
have a quick look at that now from visual, and you can see that from high up here. And it is two big chunks of buildings. I'm just going to back up a little bit to get that. Both sides have a hill area we can fire support down in. One of the favoured spots for a lot of clans to set up an AT gun is here, by the way. Really good hill overwatch towards the south. Actually, we'll whip around and get a look down back into the map itself because that's a bit better. So this is looking directly south right now. You can see it's slightly offset for the way the creek runs there, or creek as they say in the States. So, but there's that big overwatch set of hills on the left there, and the point down on the bottom left here, the sort of 8 o'clock position on screen where an AT gun likes to be set up. So just in there, a couple of hills there, great overwatch. A lot of buildings in here, a little bit more advantage neither way, actually, to be honest. From memory, the number of times I've played this area, and it doesn't really matter which side you're coming from, you're going to struggle a bit to get in there if there's bullets coming in from up on the hills. Other side have got a couple of good hills to set up on as well. What's important though, and this was learnt about in one of the first matches I ever cast, there's a bridge down here. You can drive across that sucker. So if you're coming from that right of screen, you can actually, this bridge right here, you can jump across that with a truck.
Oh, I remember seeing that. Someone managed to just get the truck across.
BPL first match, Chimera jumped across that bridge. Fascinating stuff. But let's look now at the actual approach points. Both sides have got an equal opportunity to get in via a road. That's not always the case, of course, with maps. Like down south here, if it was the south point, then the force on the left side here could get across there a lot easier than the force on the right. I'm just going to do the header bar stuff now and get this set up. So let's have a quick look at what have we got here. It's not Chimera and Merc anymore, so we'll get rid of those. It's 20th, 10th. 20th, 10th are going to be the left. No, they're going to be the right side. And because it's the way it's worked out, and Alpha are going to be the left-hand side. Allies, they are the allies on the left-hand side, and Axis are on the right-hand side. But that's not the way the color coding is going to work. Oh, that's right up there. The other way around. Fucking hell. All right, let's try that around the other day. So the bad thing here, of course, is that 20th, 10th are on the right of the map, but they're on the left on the scoreboard. Folks are just going to have their heads wrapped around that. So 20th, 10th are the blue force at any given stage. Alpha are the orange or red force, and they are the allies. 20th, 10th are the Axis. This is the teams. We'll have a look at that later because I want to see what's going on right now because it's all happening on the point here. Alpha are not there. Where are Alpha? I'm not seeing them at all.
Not sure. I don't see anyone.
They are. There is a bunch up in the hills. They've very slow off the mark. Alpha. Perhaps there was some pretty supportive fire going in. No, they are just way slow here. Blue. There's a Stewart coming in now. Oh my goodness, that is such a slow start.
No support on that tank though, which means if any of those guys are AT, Fearless looks like they might be AT. It might get blown up, but they do have their garrisons up on the hills, and that's really where you want them.
So it's a really interesting start here. There's the Lukes coming in down south. There's a tank that just got blown up. There's 2 light tanks down south here from Alpha. There's trucks getting blown up everywhere, but they've got nobody in them anymore. The Lukes is right in there in the point, though. It's got a Stewart right in front of it. It's going for a dodge. Both teams have an equal... Oh, there's the Stewart going from an AT gun. There must be an AT gun set up back overwatching. No, that's the Panzer IV there overwatching into the point. Wow, this is a really incredible first play here by 20th, 10th. They've got everybody in on the point early, and the good defensive force up on the hill there up the top left, the 10 o'clock position on screen. Alpha are way on the back foot here, and 20th, 10th are going to be able to cut this. Although, having said that, there are not a lot of infantry on the point from 20th, 10th. They're actually quite thin.
Hill. Yeah, Alpha's had a big spawn wave before in the river, so they must be coming through that way, which is a good way to go, but they run the risk of getting picked off by 10th and 20th up on the hill. Yeah,
and there's that Luke's now shooting the Stewart. The Stewart giving it the Stewart's facing the wrong direction. We can see the Luke's is at the 3 o'clock position on screen. The Stewart's in the middle. And just while we're doing that, and there's the cap, first cap there for 20th, 10th. So that's a 3-2 up for them at the moment. Really interesting start. What do we got for the next point? We haven't had a chance to talk about anything yet. Wayback's the next point, and Jacob's Barn. Jacob's Barn's a lot more challenging for Alpha to get to from North Pass, whereas Wayback's a lot closer. But having said that, Wayback's a very easy defensive line from North Pass perspective, so 20th Tank will have a hard fight up that hill, whereas Alpha are going to have a long walk to get round to the next point if they catch a North Pass here. There's something just blew the hell up. I'm not even sure what that was. There's shit going on everywhere here. That must be one of the tanks. Quick check on the map. It looks like the Luke's is dead, yeah. it's not going to fare well against the Stewart, and the Stewart's got the kill there. You can see the Stewart there, center of screen. And just quickly explaining the clockway method that I use. So if we put a clock face on the screen here, 12 o'clock's the top, 6 o'clock the bottom, 3 o'clock right, and 9 o'clock left. So when I give indications of what's going on, that's what I'm actually talking about for the viewers at home. All right, Blue. Let's talk about this. Alpha have very much consolidated that middle and south area, and they're just pushing 20th 10th off the hill there at the 10 o'clock position. That'll mean problems for 20th 10th, won't it?
Oh, for sure. They've gotten in by the south, and you really want to take that hill from the south, because if they can clear them out from the hill on that left side that they've got, then they'll be able to cap the point quite easily and hold it, because you can't get around them.
Giant set of supplies coming in. That's a set of Axis supplies coming in now. So there must be some movement coming in. I'm just going to check the forest below me. I can see some of the Alpha names. Of course, most of them are in Chinese script, so I apologise that I can't actually say their names. But the squad leader there in the middle of screen right now is trying to sweep around Hasselmeihoff. Oh, I love it. Hasselmeihoff. There's the name. Love. Hasselmeihoff, well done. But you can see there's a big Alpha surge coming through this forest here now, and 20th 10th do not have the defense they need. That's a big threat from Alpha coming through the forest here. And they're going to try and get down to the supplies, which are down below us, down at the 6 o'clock position. You can see the artillery coming in on this hill now, trying to just suppress the defenders from the 20th 10th. And this is a very, very good deliberate. Remember, I talked about Alpha being deliberate. They are just deliberately rolling forward now in two areas. They've rolled up to the top of the hill there. They've met their equal when it comes to Mighty Goose and his squad up there. So that's a bit of a stalemate at the moment. There's a bit of suppressive fire both ways. But Alpha are rolling the forest here. The trouble with rolling this forest is once they get to the edge of the forest, they've got to come down over the open hill here, down in the sort of middle bottom of screen there. And if 20th 10th have got their eyes on the prize, they'll be able to stop that. But the awkward thing for 20th 10th right now is that they are losing the point, and that will have woken up the commander of the crew, which is Sidious. He will have realised, oh, hang on a minute, we've got a bit of a wave coming in. He won't know that it's about 20 people coming over the hill, and he's got about 6 defenders there. But there is a cap starting to happen on way back. There's a
You
Puma.
could probably cap North Pass just by the sheer amount of people that they've got in there. But I don't know if they've noticed that someone's gotten behind them to cap way back.
Yeah, that's right. So there's a Puma up there now on way back, which is going to throw off the attack a little bit, because Alpha have to respond to that. I reckon Sidious has put a reinforce on the point here just to hold off, because there is still plenty of cap weight coming in from Alpha at the moment on the point. So there's another set of supplies in. So Alpha are pretty confident they're going to be able to get down to these supplies, because they're dumping them all over the place just below us. And maybe they're just spamming supplies, and then all of a sudden an airhead will go in, and I hope nobody watches that. Alpha have the momentum at the moment here. Alpha have also responded to way back. They won't have killed that Puma at the moment that's sitting up there. There it is right there. Chuckled, Sick Puck Clutch, I'll say that fast, and Texas Rodder up there, just pissing them off a little bit. So that sucked a little bit of the guts out of that attack. 20th 10th still do not have the forces here, Blue. I think they're in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, they're in a bit of trouble. Alpha now just have that little town there completely. There's no way that they can hold it off. I think that huge wave that came down the hill, they're just using the sheer numbers to proxy cap it and then push in to get that town. So if they hold that, I think 10th and 20th are going to have trouble picking them off from the hill, because you can't see them. They can hide in there easily. Yeah,
they surged a bit too much there up onto the hill to our 10 o'clock position there. They've killed all of the Alpha attackers up there, but there's twice as many people as they needed. I think they double surged 2 squads up there to defend that. Yes, it is important, but they probably overweighted that, which meant that they don't have enough down here on the point. Somehow they are not losing it. I guess that reinforce is still triggering at the moment.
They're still in the cap. They may be proxying it with the numbers on the hill. Are they still there? That force down south, they seem to be still in the cap.
There's the cap starting to blink now. It's starting to blink now. It's starting to turn backwards and forwards between the two teams. There's the Lukes I can hear off to my left putting in fire support. He's sitting on the hill, so they haven't put a anti-tank gun up there. They've actually stuck a Lukes there. It is in the ditch. That's a nice little spot here in this ditch, because we just get down and have a bit of a look at what he can see. He's suppressing it. Remember I talked about that open field there where Hasselmeihoff is? Well, that's exactly why you want somebody here. It allows them to just suppress that field so they can't push that way. The trouble is, they don't give a fuck about that area as much as the middle of town, because they pushed all the way in. 20th 10th in a lot of trouble here. They're holding on by proxy capping in that sector cap stuff that Blue was talking about. It's these 4 squares, and it's this force here that are out of place a fair way, but they are actually still holding the cap up there. So it kind of has worked out okay.
They need to get into that sector where Zuck is in those dragon teeth, so they're on the other side of the bridge. But then you don't have as much cover as the right side of the bridge. So you kind of want to get your OPs in there and then try and cross it. Oh,
here's the bombing run coming in from Alpha now. Ragnar and Staff Sergeant Almighty just walked. There's the airhead that I was talking about. So they've been raining supplies in there over and over and over again. That will be an Alpha airhead. Let's see if they can actually see it. That Luke should be able to see it. He's pretty watching that.
You can get it, yeah.
But there's a 75 or a 76 on the point now. There's the Luke. Oh, I think he's hit the airhead. Have he picked it up? Yes, he did. Look at that. Luke's has managed to get that airhead. And that is vital for the 20th right now. Well done. But there's the 75. It's a 75 in the middle of the point here. What a great shot from that Luke's. Absolute saving point right there.
He must have had such a clear view of it dropping and just put it around where he thought it was. But the tank in the center of town, I think he's going to have to stick his nose out a little bit further to get some shots off.
Well, he doesn't have to do anything at the moment because they're capping the point. He can just sit there and cover that bridge.
That's true, yeah.
Real trouble for 20th 10th. They don't have the numbers here right now. The Lukes is trying desperately to stop. He suppressed the hill beautifully, but the guys have come through the town area anyway and just wiped out the squads here. There needs to be another 2 full squads of 20th 10th down here right now, or this is GG on this point at least. And of course they've got to race back to Jacob's Bar. They do not have enough sector control back here at the moment. They need another garrison in the middle of the screen, 20th 10th do, and so it could be problematic for them, though they do have a pretty good defensive line down 3 grid squares worth, and a few random roamers at the moment. Certainly, there's a panther or a tiger coming up now. Probably a panther. You wouldn't bring a tiger in this meta. Supplies coming in now from the 20th 10th guys to try and set up another garrison deep in the point to try and do something, I guess. Here's Airbags Hurt. He's a very good player, by the way, Airbags Hurt. I've watched him a few times. He's coming down the hill now, wiping a few people out as he comes down. But they don't have the numbers. They do not have the numbers here, Blue. 2 squads, what do you reckon? That's what they need.
They need to get Addy on it and start hitting those buildings, hoping that the splash damage just wipes a couple of them out. Or some well-placed grenades. There are a few in there. If they can take a couple of them out, they may be able to slow it down.
That Luke's is going to have to get
contested.
That Luke's is going to have to go back for ammo shortly, so the Panther or Tiger, whatever it is going to have to take over from that fire support Rob, and it's got a 75. The 75 is now taking a rocket. Great rocket side shot from Corsairs. Put one in the side beautifully. There's the Luke's gone. I can hear it in the corner of my headset. And that 75.
On that tank?
I don't know. That might well be. But look at this now.
He ran up to it and then he ran away. So I think they may have been a satchel. And if Alpha aren't careful, they may just get wiped out because I think they're too close.
Is Beta on that satchel? Did he see it? Yes. There's a satchel right on the building.
It's on the wall. Genius.
This is a brilliant satchel. Because 3, 2, 1, boom, thanks for coming. 75's gone. What a great satchel there. That was brilliant work from 10 to
back.
And they are. They just started to push that, and they pulled the people down off the hill there. But we notice now that Alpha have flanked around through that centre section, and they're starting to take that. So Goblin's got some work up there to do to try and counter that. Flair's going up over the point. That was a great satchel. That's a game-changing satchel right there, boy.
It's smart as well to put it on the wall rather than try and get it on the tank, because if they hop out and have a look, they can't find it. They think they're not satcheled.
20th 10th had a 90% loss on this cap. They were 10% from losing it completely, and they've managed to turn this back around with a good redeploy. Some excellent artillery dropping literally almost on top of the spawn point there from Alpha, and rockets going in. Brilliant kill with a satchel on that tank. They're trying to claw back that hill control, which they desperately need. This is the work I wanted to see from 20th 10th, and they are doing it now. They left it probably a little bit later than I would like. It made me a little bit nervous there. But they are bringing it back now. I'm just wondering what that tank is that's coming in. Going to go check that puppy out now to see what sort of tank. Looks like a Tiger at this range. Yes, yes it is. That's a Tiger. So that'll sit back here probably. Yeah, he is. Look at that straight away. He's sitting back here doing a bit of Overwatch stuff.
Gonna hit that hill for sure to try and stop them coming down, just in case they've got any OPs in that tree line.
Yeah, and if you look at the radar dish, look at the radar dish at the 11 o'clock position on screen. That is also a favoured position to put Overwatch fire in. But I'm just watching up north there now, 12 o'clock. Well, it's not really north, is it? South. looking at the top screen, 12 o'clock position, you can see the big Alpha surge wave now and the response from the 20th to try and counter that. So there's going to be some great fighting going on up there. There is a set of supplies going in. The interesting thing, though, is the relentless attack here from Alpha means that there is not a single piece of attack going on, except in one lone guy running around Mighty Goose, running around doing whatever Mighty Goose is doing out there to try and find. And he's actually sector capping. He's contesting right now. So Alpha have got nobody back there, maybe one person back there.
They walked out of the sector. That for sure. They left that and started pushing. As soon as they started losing, once they lost that tank, I bet they did another push, and then they left way back completely on because they don't need it. But they don't realize there's someone behind him.
Super important here from 20th at the moment because they need to give Alpha something else to think about and get some of these attacking forces off of North Pass so they can breathe for a second because it hasn't stopped. We are not even 18 minutes. We are not even 18 minutes into this match yet, and it's been just massive intensity, explosions all over the fucking place. Satchels, gunfire, hill deaths, artillery killing, all sorts of things. 20th almost losing the point, gaining it back now. Now starting to lose again with some sector cap stuff going on. Pressure on way back is going really well. They're now starting to have to throw people back up the hill.
Is Mighty Goose getting a solo cap, is he?
Well, no, he's managed to put up
his squad in there. That's good because they're going to come back up the hill and they can just cause so much trouble for them when they try and take it back.
Alpha, we're just going to pop up and have a look at this as we see the other point being contested and they're spawning. Those Alpha attackers now are turning around and running back up the hill. Mighty Goose's squad is going to get pinched out here. But look, that was a great play by him. That solo commander, while your squads are defending somewhere else, send your squad leaders in to set up an OP and do an instant respawn. That's great play there. We saw it, I can't remember which team it was. They had the three amigos, literally three squad leaders that literally just ran around everywhere as a trio and were a little murderable, and then they'd set up some OPs and like 15 people would spawn in off it. Incredible stuff, to get that rapid transition. You can see now, though, the point's working that way where 20th are just starting to cap back. Oh, geez, I tell you what, that point North Pass is being contested back by Alpha, but Alpha have responded well here to the hill attack that's going on. So it's a bit of a trade at the moment of who's got what.
Somewhere else. It gives them something that they have to pull a squad back, which can give your defensive team just some breathing room to respawn, move into a better spot, move up. It just helps so much when you're defending.
I reckon they got 30 seconds respite there, the 20th defenders, because Alpha rolled that hill pretty well and they pushed down the other side, which is a great place to attack from. And you can see that 20th have identified that as a massive threat. They're responding now by squad plus up there, maybe two squads short. Well, what we would say 2 squads minus. So a squad minus would be, this squad here has got 3 people and this squad here has 3 people and that's 3 or 4 people. That's a full squad there. So there's 2 squads minus up on the hill doing a counter attack on the Alpha push. It's not enough yet, by the way, because Alpha is still capping this with enough bodies in the zone. But they're also winning the trade war at the moment where there's so many 20th dying to just a blistering rate of fire coming in from everywhere for them. Artillery dropping all over the place. Oh, it's intense, this battle, and I think Alpha might have the initiative here. They've got enough up on that hill, Blue, to hold off that push that came in from the 2 squads miners, and they've got heats on the point here. There's a ricochet off that Tiger from whatever tank it is. Oh, bam!
Ooh,
that's another shotgun.
Yeah, they may get the Tiger, but I think they've got a couple of OPs in those buildings down there in the middle of the screen, so I think they'll be able to just kind of spawn back every time they get taken.
Yeah.
And really push that cap.
Real trouble here for 20th. That Panzer, that Tiger was killed by the 76, which I just found hiding in the trees there. The Tiger was too overcommitted there on this map. You can't go that far. And now huge trouble for 20th because there's a proxy cap going on Jacobs as well. We're going to whip over there and have a quick look here while this fight goes on for North Pass. And look at this. They've turned this around really quick and they've searched about 5 or 6 people. Well, that's the recon squad there in front of us. 2 recon squads there, plus a squad leader on the point. And Jacobs Barn is a very, very hard point to defend because it's such a hill.
Open. It's so open as well. It's terrible. You kind of want to sneak through the trees, but then you can see them. It's not as the tree cover isn't as good in this point as to others.
And so Alpha have done a turnaround of this defense of what was that bloody place called? Reback Overlook and a counter-attack on Jacobs Barn, which was a relentless attack for the last 22 minutes. And they've surged up on the hill here, and they've surged well. And 20th, 10th do not have enough garrison nearby. They didn't have one in the front there. It might have been taken out by the recon squads, to be fair.
There was one in front just up, I think, and there was the one behind, but I think the recon has cleared it out. But they do have a massive push coming from the south.
Yeah, they've lost that north garrison. This is a good surge from the south, but the thing is, Alpha are onto it. And the trouble with Jacobs Barn, if I just bring us down to ground level a little bit here and have a look, it's literally like a mini hill. So we're not even 200 meters out, and you can't see the point. And if we go over this way here, there's so much cover. There's so much cover. You can come all the way along here, which is good for the defenders at the moment because they are making it. You get to 100 meters out and you start to see the point. But as we get in over the other side here, same problem. Look, we are what? 155 out, you can't see the point. Once you start getting in there, as we go into the point here a little bit, you can't see anything. But they can't see you either. So you can be in here and OPs can be anywhere. And it's just such a hub.
I can't remember how many times I've been hiding behind that wall itself, and you just don't know if they're on the other side. And you walk along it and you just kind of clear all the OPs because they always put them next to the wall.
And there is the cap from Alpha. So a 1-2 punch from Alpha here to take the point. However, the thing that we were talking about here before with Wayback being so close to North Pass, and we saw there where Wayback started to get capped, the Alpha guys who were in this Echo 3 area could just roll back up the hill and roll whoever was there. The same thing here with Jacobs and Hurtgen approach being so close together. Hurtgen approach, I would expect to see 4 garrisons right now down this row here from the squad leaders and commanders, and this defense spread out over these 4 grid squares, and they can just sweep forward and they can reinforce this all day from their center spawn point, which also then protects their artillery and their tanks from coming out of that point as well, because their defensive line is here at Hurtgen and north and south of it. So I don't expect, I'm just going to change that scoreboard over now. Well done to, I always forget to do the scoreboard. It's now 1-4, 1 to 20th 10th and 4 to Alpha. I don't expect Hurtgen to be lost by 20th 10th. They'd be doing it horribly wrong if they actually gave up this point right now. Because they've got all the
HQ. The HQ has such a short spawn that you can just kind of get people coming in and out of it all the time, and they have to go through Hurtgen to get to Jacobs Barn. So it's actually a good spot to have your second and last point because you can just defend it via walking through it. This
is the perfect situation if you've lost the points and you're in a bit of trouble. This is the perfect setup that you want for attacking and defending. Because right now, but I'm not seeing it, Blue. Where the hell are the troops down in India 7? There should be at least a squad leader rolling around down here. There's a set of supplies down here. That's the garrison thing. So actually, I put it in a blue zone, and I'd try and put another Gary down this way. I'd have Gary up here. I'd have a Gary up here. So, yeah, that supply truck's trying down there. So that's Staff Sergeant Nick Burt. So I'd want a garrison at Hotel 4, India 4, India 5, India 7, Hotel 7, and fuck me, why not put one out at Golf 6 down the corner here with Staff Sergeant Eagle Fam then. You can always pull the damn things down later, and you can just murder ball roll them from whatever direction you want. With bombing runs and an airhead and all sorts of cool stuff. This is the exact thing that you want to be able to do, but I'm not seeing enough yet. 20th 10th being a little bit slow on the uptake here to try and turn this back around. However, you know what? They've got an hour and 5 minutes left. And that is plenty of time to win this all the way through to a 5-0 victory. So let's just watch this play out now. We'll get around the back here and have a look at what's going on. I'd expect Alpha to be no slumps. Given that we only see about 10 people right now on screen, where are the Alpha team? Where are they at the moment? That's what's interesting. Let's have a look. We've got supply runs going up north. We'll do a fly around. Here it is, Blue.
Oh, there they are. There's that Gary.
Yep, so there's the first attacking garrison, which is where I'm talking about you need to control up here. Alpha now getting sector control up on the radar tower just here in this area, so that's problematic for the defenders.
They can get behind that attacking force going to Jacobs as well.
Yep, they can.
They can just wipe them out and then start walking into Hurtgen.
And simultaneously, the exact problem I talked about down south of the map, we've got a giant murder ball coming in down here as well. And this is where 20th 10th should have their people. However, we can see that they are getting cap weight just through sheer presence off of Hurtgen approach. Here's a truck going on down here. That's a blue truck. Yeah, Sidious. Phineas about to get a rude shock as he gets shot out of that truck, I reckon. So he knows that he's got troops down here now. I would have that, and he's going to walk straight into an AT guy as well. We'll watch that play out.
Yeah, I think he might be taken out, but it does give away the fact that you are down there. What you could do is sometimes it's better to hit the deck and then, oh, he's made it through.
Yeah, maybe he's dodging, ducking, diving, dipping and dodging. He's got to turn, he's in trouble. Turn now, he's jumped out, he's going for the shot. Oh, he's hit the ground, the bandage, of course, because he's dying a little bit in the truck, but he's been picked off.
He's been taken out, yeah.
He knows there's a problem down there, and Blue, you are 100% correct. I would not have shot. I would have let that play go through. Because
yeah, it's only one transport truck. You can kind of tell whether if it's full of troops, take the shot. You might get a bunch of them, and then that just sends them back to the respawn screen. But if it's just one guy, let them go because they don't know you're there yet.
Well, I'd argue that it would always generally be a squad leader or the commander that's driving in a truck out there like that. And so you've got to weigh that up in your mind of whether or not you're... And this is the next level of leadership, I guess, when it comes to squad leading and commanding. You make the assessment on the ground of whether or not you're about to get the initiative through attack down there, or whether you've got you're a fair way off and there's a threat to your point. And perhaps they looked at the fact that it was getting capped and went, you know what, we probably need to engage this guy here and stop this push down south. Maybe they looked at it that way. So it's probably a little bit unfair of me or yourself, but for me to say, oh yeah, I would have let that guy go through. But having said that, it's certainly something that teams weigh up in their mind. And if we look at this attack down here now and see what happened in the couple of minutes I've been talking, you can see Blue are now responding with a recon squad down here. Alpha have got up, though, into the back of Erkin approach, though. And that's what they needed to achieve. So maybe a good call was made there to shoot that out of the truck because it slowed down the attack, but it's still going.
Yeah, it depends on what it is, and it's up to, like, it was the AT guy who took the shot. It's up to the individual in the time. It's like, can you make the shot? Can you get it? Because if you can hit that truck, go for it. If you're like, oh, it's too far, there's too much in the way, maybe let it go, because then you know where it's going. It's probably going to get an OP or a garrison up behind or further south of the point, and you can kind of be like, oh, we'll just follow it and track it down later.
Yeah, I'm just noticing... We've just got a raid from Lieutenant Colonel Soundboard, who's one of the premier streamers for competition play. So great to see him around and about. And thanks very much for the raid, mate. Really appreciate it. Blue, talk to me about Jacobs. Are 20th going to take this right now?
I think so. If they keep pushing forward, they do have most of the cap weight, and I think they cleared them out from the south. I'm not sure about the north, but it looks like they've got a handle on it. And there is a squad leader super, super far north, probably going to get a Gary up so they can continue on to North Pass. But it looks like they might have the numbers. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, it's tight, isn't it? It's very tight. There's a lot of 20th, 10th around, and they are actually broadening out. So they've come from that centre road area, which I'm looking at right now. And they're just bloating out a little bit from that point, which allows them to just press back the Alpha guys and girls. And this is a good one. As 20th, 10th, well, there's still cap weight from Alpha on the point. Maybe they dropped a reinforce actually because they've got half a dozen people right in the centre there. But 20th, 10th do have a pretty good surge here. I'm just very interested in where those other surges are coming from on Herkin approach. As we watch some of the gameplay here and they push into the point, I'm just going to whip off across shortly and have a look around the back. You can see Gift and their squad from Alpha coming in on the left of screen there. So that's trouble for Herkin approach. And they are... Well, it's relentless pressure, isn't it, from Alpha? It's been relentless. No matter where they're fighting.
He's in some good spots where they can just spawn back in, and then they're putting pressure on the point straight away. They've probably got a couple in the point itself, and then they've got a few around the edges, which means they can just keep throwing people at the point to stop them capping.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, shout outs to Soundy's community there have come and joined us, and thanks for the raid, mate. I appreciate it. And you're watching a really interesting battle here. I mean, obviously a 30-minute delay, so this message will only self-destruct in 30 minutes. But the very start of the match, that was incredible play. 20th, 10th got on the point real firm. But they controlled one area, but not the centre of town there, which allowed Alpha relentlessly pushing down the hill over and over and over again to finally take that point. And then they won 2 caps through to where we are now, which is a vigorous last defence on this point. But 20th, 10th do have the initiative or the upper hand here on this defence. I just saw an OP rock up around the back of the around the back of the artillery. So here we go. There we go. That's what I was thinking from that Southport that shot the truck before. They've actually made it all the way around to the back of the artillery, and now the artillery's in a bit of trouble. And 20th 10th have got a real problem here in the back lines around the back of Hurricane because they've left it uncontrolled. The north and south they did not take quick enough. They did not take the north and south areas quick enough. So up here and down here, they didn't control fast enough. They've just been fixated on pushing through this centre area. I mean, they've been sending 1s and 2s up that way, but it's not enough against 4 or 5 Alpha players. And so Alpha are now going to gain the initiative at the back of the point here, and this is big trouble for 20th 10th.
They're mid HQ. They can't spawn there. They have to come from somewhere else, and that's just a drive.
Yes.
For a really long run. And it's a hassle to kind of get back, especially if you start losing and you want to get sector control. You're out of the sector. You can't spawn and have your OP in the sector anymore. And they're behind you as well.
Just watching the garrison there light up next to Hurtgen near the... I mean, they're good garrisons they've got here. Those are both good, but now that garrison's locked at the back. And if they're not watching that, then they're in a world of hurt because it's zero tolerance trying to pick off the back here and clean up some of this. It's not even recon back here, folks. This is the bloody punchy punch of a squad attacking squads back here, and Alpha are going to be able to hold their own because we know they are good players. There's whoever that is in the middle of the screen there, the squad leader, pushing through, probably taking out that. Yeah, he took out the garrison there already, and now he'll be setting up something, an OP or something for his squad to stage in from. We can see the right of screen there, the 3 o'clock position, the other clock. The 3 o'clock position there, Alpha control the hell out of that. And there they go. They're starting to capture the critical sector. As it says on the screen there, that massive weight of forces coming in from the north of map.
They're going to push through. They're going to wipe them out. They're going to get into the point, and then I think 10th and 20th are going to have such a struggle just to get back into the sector because they're going to be spawning from north and south now that they're capturing.
Yeah, and they can't spawn on the middle point. They've got that nice tight garrison. That's an all-hands call right now. Remember I told you about that red alert button in the last match when the Mercantor did not hit the red alert button on Cemetery when it was 50% capped, and then they just lost everything. This is the moment right now where Sidious hits the red button and goes, right, everybody fucking on that garrison, and a starburst from that garrison. And I want to see that right now, 20th 10th. I want to see everybody spawn in.
Off that, they may be able to hold it, at least throw it back into contested.
And what just happened was they had a 5-person spawn in, and Alpha's player there, the AT person, put a rocket in and took out the garrison after the spawn wave came in. That is a huge play. That is a match-winning play there, because if we look at the map quickly, there's not a garrison within 2 grid squares. This is GG.
But I have a feeling that wave coming in from the left side of the screen, that's just going to wipe out all of those OPs, and they're not going to be able to spawn in. They need to get a truck super fast.
It's too late, Blue. It is too late. Alpha have absolutely ripped apart this defensive Hurtgen approach. That rocket on the point, the fact that we only had 5 or 6 people spawning on it meant that 20th 10th did not think of it as such a big risk. And they did not respond to it. Whatever's happened there on 20th 10th, they have not responded to it at all. Every single person should have been called back at that point in time. And we had 5 on, and that is GG's right now. There is no way that 20th 10th can respond to this. They have no spawns.
It's no point. They need to leave the tank there, have the tank go through Jacobs, maybe put some pressure on, but everyone there taking Jacobs should have gone back. You just abandon the attack at that point, and then you just pile onto the defense, because then they can't outnumber you.
Look at where the 20th 10th are on the map. They're still on the attack there. They have no idea what's going on up front here, or they've just given up. These guys down here have got about a 2-kilometre run to get onto the point. There's a truck coming in with supplies, trying to get a garrison up here. It's not going to happen. It's all over. It's all over, ladies and gentlemen. This is a 5-0 victory to Alpha. After a relentless first, say, 20 minutes, maybe 15 minutes, relentless play and great play from everybody. It's just been a rollover by, the Alpha guys have just rolled straight across the match and just outflanked and outmaneuvered everybody on the 20th 10th there. They haven't responded well enough. And look, who was the player of the game there from the 2010th? I'm not sure. Thoughts on that, Blue?
Oh, whoever put that satchel down to get the tank, that's
who I was looking for. Where was it? Who was that person? I've missed him already.
They may not be engineer anymore, but yeah, whoever that was, that was a good play. I like the fact that they put the satchel on the wall. Smart move. Don't bother trying to get the tank. Stick it on the wall, because even if it moves 10 or 20 meters away, it's still going to get blown up.
All right, well, we're back on the warm-up screen now and looking at our webcams and seeing what was a pretty good match from the Alpha guys. 20th, 10th. They played well at the start, but then they kind of started that stuff about the continuity of gameplay and against sustained pressure. They just couldn't quite hold it. And so they started getting chipped away by what was, unfortunately on the day for them, the superior team. Alpha definitely rolled them well there. We'll just scroll through and have a look at some of the squads here. The commander of Alpha, Kaka, is the name of the person there. Look at that, 382 on the board for their time in Hell Let Loose. So, I mean, I've only got 191 and I've played for over 1,000 hours. So what's that tell you? Anyway, here we are looking at some of the squads here as they start to drop off. So we lose track of that a little bit, unfortunately. Well done to Alpha. Commiserations to the 20th, 10th guys. Certainly at the start of that, they're definitely getting better in the way they play. And, you know, it's just now got to be consistent across the whole match. And they've got to be able to respond to superior attacks like that. So, well done, you know, to both teams for what was an interesting match. Blue, we still only went for about 20 minutes or so, though. It wasn't a long one, 20, 25 minutes, maybe 30. Not a big...
Yeah, but it was super good. 10th and 20th got the point, but they didn't have the numbers on the point. And sometimes you don't necessarily want everyone in the circle. You want more sector control. You want more proxy capping, because then you can deal with it. You can go into the circle, but you can stop them getting in. And then I think Alpha just went so far round that they went down to Jacobs to get into North Pass, and then they just cleared them out as they moved up, and they were ready to go into Jacobs.
Yeah.
And it was squads as well, not just recon, which means you've got OPs and 6 people spawning on at a time, ready to go on the attack as soon as you cap.
All right, well, I am going to call it there. That'll do us for today. It's been a pretty quick day, actually. Both matches today were less than half an hour games. 2 fascinating games and some amazing gameplay in there. But look, hopefully folks pick up some things out of this. If they learned something from it, great. Hopefully you were entertained. I know both of us were, Blue. And I thank you very much for joining me today. Shouts out to Blue there in chat. Please go and check out her streams. She does a lot of Hell Let Loose streaming. She does comp streaming. She joins us for these types of things, and we join her as well. And she's one of our Hell Let Loose mates. Certainly a good friend to have on board for here today. So thank you, Blue, for joining me today.
No worries. Thank you so much for having me. These are I enjoy these so much. These are so much fun.
All right, and I love the fact that chat's in there having a red hot go, and some great tips coming in from Soundy, who's played about 1 billion gazillion hours on this game, and he's one of the partners for Hell Let Loose. So please go and check Soundy out as well. I'll throw him another shout out at the end of this. Thanks, ladies and gents. I hope you've enjoyed today. I look forward to catching up with you for next weekend's streams. Should be a big one. The one I'm doing hopefully will be Chimera versus Sev H 501st. Both teams are at the top of their game pretty much, so that'll be a great match to watch. We'll watch how the ban phase works out this week and see what map they get. Maybe they're on again. What do you reckon? Who knows? But anyway, and we'll see what else I stream as well. A big couple of months coming up of streaming, so stick around, folks. And don't forget that I do giveaways sometimes on Friday night for the Friday night fights. I actually gave a $100 Steam key away. That's where my revenue goes back into the community. So please keep an eye out for that sort of stuff. I try to do it every couple of weeks or whatever, depending on the revenue inflow from Twitch. Thanks for supporting. Catch up with you next time. See you later on Blue.
See ya.